Chapter 6: Chinese versus Western Perspectives. Author Jinghao Zhou. Presentation by Aislinn Ospina. Chinese economy. The two main support systems of the Chinese society is made up of the economy and politics. Ever since the Chinese government introduced the reform movement, the economy of China boomed. It soared so high in such a quick amount of time for more than 3 decades already. China surpassed Japan in becoming the second highest economy in the entire world. It is widely believed that China will one day replace the United States as the first highest economy in the world during the years between 2025 and 2040. Some other Western scholars believe the opposite and predict that China's economy is unsustainable and will eventually fall apart in a decade from now. So the question is, what will happen to the economy of China in the future that is near? Why China lost its leading economic position. After the Qing dynasty, China was making so much progress in improving transportation, communications, and etc. China was becoming the largest economy in the world during the first half of the Qing dynasty, until suddenly it fell dramatically. This happened because Chinese governments lacked to increase productivity by improving production and technology. Therefore, no development of new technology was encouraged and lived the same. Western countries then invaded China during this time. They ravaged properties, forced the Chinese government to accept unfair treaties, and spread the trade of the sickening opium business with China. Towards the end of the Qing dynasty, China's economy overloaded with drug addictions, population pressures, and the corruption of politics. It was so difficult to reconstruct the traditional economy and build a new economic system in such a short amount of time. China felt hopeless. During 1949, Chairman Mao declared the establishment of the People's Republic of China. China had become a new independent country. Mao Zedong transformed the ownership system, kinship structure, and political structure. He wanted to achieve so many things for China, such as eliminating foreign control of Chinese industry and providing the basic needs for the people of China. Mao never gave up and continued to campaign for class struggles. Unfortunately, Mao was way too extreme. He destroyed the market system, implemented a socialist planned economy, and abolished private ownership. He prohibited all commodity economic activities in order to have a pure communist system. He eventually closed China's door to the outside world in order to carry out self-sufficient policies. This all eventually concluded to the collapse of China's economy. Significance of the Reform Movement. Mao died in 1976 and Deng Xiaoping took over. Deng Xiaoping had an ideological campaign that paved the way for an economic reform movement. This Chinese reform movement began in different regions of China. He developed a new policy system in which consisted of land distribution and much more. China now had 6 types of ownership systems that have been becoming so successful even today. Everything had been changing for the better. Deng Xiaoping also persuaded the 14th National Congress to accept socialist market economy in 1992. The government lifted restrictions on non-state industries and much more. Achievements of the Chinese economy. Reform movement transformed China completely. It was once a poor country, and now it is an industrialized one. This movement helped end the history of China's poverty and opened so many doors. Deng Xiaoping really impacted China by bringing China to a new economic stage. China's economy is now 10 times larger than what it was in 1978. It is actually the fastest growing economy in the world. It is now the world's 2nd largest economy. China is also the largest maker of toys, clothing, and electronic products. Many products dominate the US market. This also leads to China making such great efforts to integrate itself in the world economy. Every day, China is moving rapidly to dominate the global market. More residents in China are becoming wealthier, and they have a high amount of middle-class people living in China. China has a strong military force and is improving on advanced education and technology. There is just so many expectations for China's great future. Is China's economic progress sustainable? Some Western scholars argue that China's economic progress is not sustainable, and citizens also agree to this. They all feel this way because of the population problem, low level of scientific and technological development, underdeveloped infrastructure in transportation and communication network, political system, corruption, inflation, unemployment, crime, monetary instability, bottlenecks in energy, foreign exchange, and raw materials. Another serious problem is the wide gap between the rich and the poor, which can result in government corruption. To conclude, whether or not China is able to sustain its economy depends on how the government wisely balances political and economic reform. Thank you.